Well, normally you would probably start from any of the inbuilt examples here that is close enough to your considered problem, and then you quickly modify a model from the existing constructs. And many of these example models are described on the Morpheus website that you have seen. So if you scroll down on the website to the examples section, then you can first browse any of the behaviors that you see here. And upon clicking on them, you will be brought to a description of the particular example that is matching the code that is contained in the graphical user interface in the menu item under examples. But another source of such starting points can be the courses. Please consider all the courses that we provide on the website, especially the Getting Started and Multiscale Modeling course. But also, if you scroll down further, our support links, for instance, the Morpheus user forum is very active, and many interesting problems are discussed just in the user forum, attached to them being XML documents that you can load into Morpheus right away and start from them. So let's go to the Morpheus graphical user interface and close everything that was there from a previous model and start a new model from scratch. So the model editor and information is empty because we start really from scratch. You can customize the arrangement of this graphical user interface as you like. You can, for instance, close some of these components or under Windows, bring them back. You can detach the panels and move them around on the GUI and arrange them as you like. Note that you always have a documentation bar here that is updating depending on the current context. So the beginning of our new model will be to give this project a title, and this title, let's choose here tutorial, will be used as the folder under which the different model runs, so-called jobs, will be archived here in the job queue. You can add some notes on your model project, and in this bottom panel, we will see the growing model graph developed that is then interactively linking to the individual model components. So the next item here on the left-hand side, where you see the top-level model structure, will be to declare the spatial domain in which this model is running. So we start here from a two-dimensional square lattice because we are interested in this example to model morphogen gradient establishment with a source of morphogen on one boundary of our rectangular lattice, and then diffusion into the domain and uniform degradation inside the domain. We can adjust the size of this domain in this triple of the x dimension, y dimension, and z dimension. Now it's only two-dimensional, so z will be preset to 0. And let's choose something non-square, so a 200 by 100 lattice unit domain. And we want to set start and end time. So end time, let's just pick a number of 100 time steps. This already gives a valid model. Now we want to add further components, not yet any cell types or cell mechanics, but just partial differential equations which are applicable to the whole simulation domain. So these are defined under this model item global. So if I double click on that, that adds this section global to our model structure, and immediately this plugin selection here has updated. So that is always suggesting model extensions that are meaningful under the current scope of your model editor. So for instance, here we can add constants or fields. So in this case, we have to consider the concentration of a morphogen throughout the simulation domain, and that is captured in a so-called field. That's basically a scalar variable depending on lattice position x, y. And we have to give this a symbol that's like the notation that you have in a partial differential equation. What is the symbol for your variable? Let's call that c, and give that a name, call it Morphogen. That name can then be used in legends in plotting later on. So that has defined our field C, and it is given an initial value of 0 throughout. So here we could adjust the initial condition of this field. And as you may want to change these aspects or add further aspects, this is possible by right-clicking on such elements. Right-clicking on an element opens a context menu where upon add you get the same suggestion of components that you want to add as you have throughout the editor down here in this plugin panel. You may select and copy elements and then paste them in other models. You may have multiple models open in parallel, and in this way copy paste between models. Cut remove is clear. You may temporarily disable a model element from your model and then see what the model does without it, and later reactivate that component. So in this way you're very quickly exploring model components and their influence without the need to recompile any code, right? So this is all pre-compiled and you just switch on and off and therefore modify model structure very quickly.